So the report is about how the Kenyan government failed to plan for and to prevent violence against women and girls during the COVID-19 pandemic. And this failure contributed to an increase in cases of gender-based violence. The report is also about how through this failure, women and girls faced increased levels of harm. They faced increased harm because of various reasons, including they could not access the help and the services they needed to get out of abusive situations or to get to safety or to get help. The conclusion of this report is that the Kenya government's response to violence against women and girls during the COVID-19 pandemic has been too little, too late. Now, let me talk a little bit about why the increase in these levels. One of the issues or the factors is that women are concentrated in sectors that have been very hurt by the COVID pandemic. Many of them work in the informal sector as domestic workers, as food vendors, as domestic workers, as sex workers, which renders them very ineligible for social protection programs.
And during that review, recommendations were made to Kenya to take specific measures to prevent GBV through training to duty bearers and enhancing their capacity. The other key recommendation made to Kenya was to prioritize protection of survivors who have experienced GBV. Because we know in most cases, survivors not only experience fear, but also reprisal from the perpetrators. They get threatened when they want to report the GBV experience that they've undergone. The other recommendation alluded to Kenya was the need for the country to ensure that survivors have adequate remedies, including reparation. These are still matters that were reinforced when Kenya underwent review this year that was establishing the extent to which Kenya has implemented the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And those recommendations were reiterated to the country on need to ensure that we have a GBV-free society, particularly a society that does not experience violence against women. We are enhancing capacity of duty bearers to investigate and to prosecute violence against women, and by extension, GBV, which also includes men and which includes boys and girls. And this is cognizant of the fact that GBV that occurs during normal time, when I say normal time, it includes time that are free from pandemic or non-electoral years, so that the structures they put in place are able to function during election. The other component that we are working on is in terms of enhancing capacity of independent and oversight commissions. And this is aimed at equipping them to look into situations where there is inaction by duty bearers to respond to GBV as mandated. Agnes has alluded to circumstances where survivors are turned away when they go to report these cases to police and other duty bearers. It's very important for us to deal with inaction, because when there is inaction in relation to GBV response, we send a strong message to survivors that they need to contend with GBV, and also we indicted ourselves as society that we've accepted GBV as part and parcel of our culture. The other component that we are working on is in terms of advocacy for duty bearers to prioritize GBV in their contingency plans and early warning mechanism, particularly as we approach election.
Kule kwetu Narok, bado tuko chini. Hatuna wasichana kama Hodri, hatuna wasichana kama huyu ambalo wamesoma. Na tunaona kwamba wanaume wametuharibia watoto kabisa, hasa mtoto kama huyu. Miaka 9. Anaharibiwa na babake. Tukachitoa kwamba inastahili sisi tutetee haki na kuchitoa kusaidia wasichana wetu. Mtoto huyu ni miaka 9. among wale nimewarescue kwangu, wao Human Rights Watch walikuja mpaka Crown na waliona na wakaona ni mzuri kutetea mtoto msichana. Tunajitoa na hakuna mtu anasaidia. Mumeniona nafanya kazi yangu ya nyumbani. Kazi hiyo ya nyumbani ni kulima, kufuka nguku zangu, ng'ombe, nipate kidogo ile. Hili nisaidie wale tumejitoa kuleta. Serikali hakuna chochote kile. Ningelisema hivi. Ninafurahia kama serikali wangechenga rescue center ya kuweka watoto yetu. Hasa wakati wa COVID-19 imeparipia sisi pakubwa sana. Tulikuwa tunajaribu kidogo kidogo kuwasomesha kidogo kidogo, lakini COVID-19 ilipoingia ilituharibia pakubwa. Kenya yetu iko kitu inaitwa bodaboda. Kule kwetu tunatoka kwa Poverty families, ambacho mtu ya bodaboda na kucha na pepa leo mtoto kwenda shule, kesho mara ya 3 anaitisa msaada. Msaada ni nini? Si ni mwili yake. Anapopea mwili yake mimba, basi tayari. Mimba hiyo ni mtoto ya 14 years, 15 years. Tukajitoa kutetea haki ya mtoto msichana na mama bila kuajiriwa, bila kufanywa nini. So naona ya kwamba NGOs, organizations, ndio wanasaidia wananchi kutoka kule mashinani. Serikali hakuna usaidizi yoyote. So tunasii serikali yetu watuangalie, watusaidie, watilie maanani mama na mtoto. Tutapona. Kule Narok tuko na shida mingi. Shida hiyo ndio tutetee. Mtu mwanaume anachukua mtoto ya miaka 13, anaenda kukeketa. Anapokeketa anafunza ile mambo yote yale. Anapofunza yale mambo, mtoto anataka kwenda kupractice ile kitu amefunza. Kweli atasoma? Hawezi. Ndipo ninawasi nyinyi nyote kama organization mchip in Narok ili mtusaidie, mtuiniwe na watoto wetu wapate kusoma.